Welcome back to another powerful conversation inside the Entrepreneurs Visibility Summit. In this interview, we are diving into one of my favorite topics with Milan. We're building a 7- and 8-figure business through speaking. This is something he does all around the world, and I'm so excited to introduce you to him. So today, I have the honor of introducing Milan Milosevic, and he is the founder of Millionaire Speaks, which is an amazing program. And it's helping entrepreneurs get to that 7- and 8-figure business through storytelling and speaking, which is beautiful. I'm a huge believer in using speaking as your marketing strategy because it gets so many eyes on your things. He's also the co-founder of Riches and Beyond, South Africa's leading property education company with over 50,000 students at this point. He's an international, I could go on and on. I'm just going to give you some good accolades here, Milan, because you are amazing. So he's an international speaker coach, best-selling author of 9 books, including Cracking the Rich Code. That's endorsed by Tony Robbins, by the way. He's the editor-in-chief of Millionaire Speakers magazine. He's had over 1,000 presentations around the world, from the US to Dubai. And he's been featured in Entrepreneurs magazine and many others. This man trains CEOs, politicians, aspiring leaders, and it's all through the power of storytelling and speaking. Milan, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for inviting me. So looking forward to share my story and hopefully inspire some people to become better. Yeah.
Absolutely. And your story is quite the story. I'm actually going to ask you all about that today. So I'm very excited. Thank you for being willing to share with all of us. Well, amazing. So just to kick things off for the audience to understand a little bit more about you, can you just tell us a little bit more about what you do for people, how you help them?
Great. I'll be happy to do that. I mean, most people know me as, like you mentioned, 7- and 8-figure businesses, done 1,000 live events, 9 books endorsed by Tony Robbins. I share the stage with Lisa Nichols and all these great people. But what not many people know about me is that not so long ago, about 15, 20 years ago, I was broke, college dropout, couldn't even speak English, didn't know where I'm heading. And I didn't like where I was. I was living with my parents, and my dad gave me a choice. Says, you know what, Milan, either you get a job or go back to school and kind of support us. And school didn't work for me. I dropped out of college twice, and I got a job and didn't stay long. And I realized, you know what? After 4 years of working, I managed to save enough just to buy a secondhand car. And they're like, is this my life is going to be? I'm going to work for another 4 years to buy another secondhand car. This is not where I want to be. And I felt I was meant for something greater. Had an opportunity to go and work overseas, and I took it. And when I was standing at the airport with my dad, he says, Milan, let's go back home. You can't even speak English. They're going to send you back home tomorrow. What are the odds you're going to succeed in a foreign country? So I look at my dad, and he's teary eyes and said, Dad, I have to do this. I don't have a choice. I mean, I can stay here and be miserable, live with you. I don't want to do that. Or I can go there, give my best, and let's see what's going to happen. But I can tell you one thing, one day I'm going to make you proud. And I left my country, Serbia, 2005, ended up working in America, and that's where the journey started. Started from the bottom in the gift shop on the cruise ship, and eventually was introduced to different people who were working there, like art auctioneers, people who were doing public speaking presentations. Say, hey, I can do that. That looks easy. What do I have to do the same thing? And then it was all about, hey, you know what? Your accent is a bit funny. You can work on that. Okay. Well, I started working on it a little bit, and then eventually started doing presentations with the shop that I was working in and become art auctioneer, and eventually started selling future cruises. And big story, long story short, I ended up being introduced to people like Les Brown, Lisa Nichols, Tony Robbins. And I realized that the real power really is in having the right person to take you where you want to be. And now, years later, after done 1,000 live events plus, wrote 9 books endorsed by Tony Robbins. One of them was a bestseller on the Amazon. People started approaching, Milan, can I do the same thing? Milan, you're so great. Like, hey, you see me now, but I couldn't even speak English, and yes, I can teach you. And that's how Millionaire Speakers Program was born, with the purpose of, let me see what's missing there. How can we become better speakers, better leaders, connect more with the story? Because leaders should lead, but also should be a role model. But if I don't know much about you, how are you going to lead me if all I see is just a success? So I specialize in storytelling, marketing, and essentially using that power of both of these things to build a business to 7 and 8 figures and becoming a paid speaker. And that's why we're here today, right? To share a bit of an insight of becoming a powerful speaker and growing a business to 7 and 8 figures.
I love that. And it is amazing the goal you had to go make all those decisions. There's so many of us who are in the speaking business, and business in general, but then trying to tap into some different speaking markets. Uh, where did that drive come from for you? I'm curious, because for you to sit there and say, I'm going to make you proud someday, that level of belief that you had, where did that come from for you? Because so many people just get knocked off their
Mm.
sales by the littlest thing. And how did you keep that level of focus? It's almost like you manifested this life for yourself. How did you do that?
Right, it's a great question, right? So some people find drive in what I want to get, but for me, it was like what I'm running from, and being broke and struggling. That was my fear of being broke again. I don't want to go
Yeah.
there anymore. What do I have to do differently? Who I need to become so I can make my parents proud and have a decent lifestyle, right? So, and over a period of years, that becomes your second nature. That little voice says, like, you know what, Milan, you can do better. You can be bigger. It's not even about money anymore. It's about I can be so much more. I can inspire so many more people so that if they're struggling, if they living in poverty, if they don't have a choice, but I'm sure they have a powerful story to share and they can essentially build a business. I mean, it's a human nature. We want to help others one way or another, want to give an advice, but why not teach them how to become better instead of just giving that advice? Why not create a structure of, hey, here are the clear steps that if you follow, you can become successful and wealthy and change your life and your family as well. So drives becomes a habit, and habit essentially becomes a part of your personality. For me, is never ending story. Like, let's see who else can I become in the next few years? How many more books I can write, right? I mean, like how many more lives I can change. Now we tapping in international waters. I have students from Zambia, Kenya, Namibia, Africa, America, UK, Europe, and it's all about who else can hear the story, get inspired, and realize that they can become better. We should never ever stop growing. Somebody says the moment you stop learning and growing, you literally start rusting. You start
That's right.
diminishing yourself. Why? Why should we stop? We don't have to retire if we really enjoying what we love to do, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I love that so much. Well, thank you for
Mm.
that. And I could tell that you mix strategy and steps with mindset and pulling people into their best self. And I mean, just by being around you, I can just tell it's going to lift people up. So I just love that. I love your
Mm.
approach on all of it. So you
Yeah,
alluded
thank
to some different pillars that you work through, the storytelling, the marketing, and then growing the business. Can you tell us a little bit more about the storytelling aspect of what you teach?
Right. So storytelling is a big one, right? Everybody has a story, but how do we connect through the storytelling with our audience, right? So
Mhm.
we have usually one-dimensional speakers. I'm going to share a little bit because it's a whole different concept, right, that I developed over a period of time.
Sure.
Like if I'm an analytical person, right, and I go there and deliver only facts and figures and numbers, I'm connecting only with that type of people. Great. I can go to UK, they're going to be raving about it, but South Africans, for instance, where I'm living right now, they're more amiable. They want to connect with you personally. Tell us more who Milan is, where you coming from, right? I can give you numbers, the logic is there, but I don't know, Milan. I don't really connect with you personally. So got to be something else. So now when you have a one-dimensional person, a speaker, right, who just goes there with the facts, here's my story. I was broken bankrupt. Today I'm successful. Here's the numbers. Here's the logic. Why people not connecting? Because you're not personal. So I realized that in order to connect with more different people, you have to understand the types of people in your audience and
Mhm.
adjust your story to them. So in every audience, we have four types of people. We have analytical people. They like numbers. They like figures. They're more logical, right? We also
Mhm.
have amiable people who are more friendly. They love stories. They love sense of communities. They want to know more about you. Let me know about it, right? Then we also have drivers, people who are just, if you ever been to New York, right? So I spoke there before, and people just say, Milan, don't tell us stories, just go straight to the point. We don't have time to waste, right? And they're drivers, they want to take action, but they don't have time to waste. So I need to go quickly to the point before people are going to leave, right? And then we
Mhm.
have expressive people like Milan. I hope this is not going to be another boring Zoom event because I've been to too many of those, right? So I need to be a little bit of an entertainer. I need to bring numbers, quicker results, and I need to tell the story the best way I can to connect with all these four types of people. And that way, I connect with most people, not everybody. There's always going to be someone who's going to say, hey, look at this bald guy. He thinks he's smart one. Looks like the one who bullied me in a high school. There's no way I can beat that, right? But I can connect and be who I am with my funny accent through the storytelling because most people were broke. Most people went through difficult times. I'm a college dropout. I went through divorce. I'm a dad of two. I love gymming. I love martial arts. I love different things. I love reading, but I also love having fun. Huh.
Mhm.
You're not so different than me, Milan, right?
That's
And then
right.
when you find out where I'm coming from, we're connecting, and then whatever I'm offering or promoting, it's so much easier. It's not a salesy speech or anything. It's like, hey, I might have something of a greater value. I can help you. I have different people. If you like me, great. You can become part of my community. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. There's someone who
Yeah.
will. And that's what we're doing. We're building a community of people who are in alignment with our values, with who we are, and then becomes like a powerful journey. You're building your tribe. You have lifetime students and clients who just want more of you, right?
Oh, absolutely. I love that. I absolutely love the concept of the four personality types and speaking to them. Otherwise, you lose a huge chunk of the room by speaking in a one-dimensional way, as you said. And so I love through your storytelling, I'm assuming, and maybe you can expand
Yeah.
on this, through your storytelling, you're throwing some facts in, you're throwing some things for the
Yeah.
expressives. So is that kind of how that works? You're weaving it into everything?
Yeah, pretty much. So it depends how long is the presentation. What am I really offering? I will
Mhm.
always put a bit of a storytelling, bit of a jokes. I like making fun of myself. I mean, bald guy
Yeah.
with a goatee. What do you know, right? So there's always a bit of a fun story and success
Mhm.
stories of other people who might be like you. And there's always some facts and figures because numbers need to make sense, right? So
Mhm. Mhm.
storytelling adds up, and then the power of everything creates that a bigger picture that eventually leads to the end, which might be call to action or follow me on social media. Or here's the free book that we're going to have at the end of the day, right?
Yes, absolutely. I love that so much. Can you share a little bit about something I've heard from speakers often, and I used to do this myself. I used to rush through my story at the beginning because I thought, oh, nobody's going to really care about my story. And then I've heard other people, so many entrepreneurs say, I just feel like I need to rush through my story because I don't want to lose everybody. Can you expand on that a little bit? Just how you help people
Mm.
through their storytelling and not feeling like, they're going to lose their audience through their story?
Right. So that's one thing I had to work for a while at the beginning of my career, right? So you have limited time frame to deliver. And like, okay, I
Mhm.
want to go to the content first because if they don't get the content, how I'm going to sell it. But the most important part is the story. But if I have the specific time frame, let's say we're doing a TEDx talk, which is 15 minutes normally. So I had
Mhm.
to split that normally into three sections. First 5 minutes, my story, my introduction, right? To connect with people personally, right? And then the second part, I'm going to talk about a bit more about the content. And then the last part is like, what's in it for you, how you can become part of it. Even though the TEDx stage is not really about selling, I can use it for the story. There's a great technique I learned from Lisa Nichols, one of my great mentors, called the Valley, right? The Valley is, I'm going to share real quick right now, which is
Yeah,
more of
great.
a, like I started today, right? Most people know me as Big Me, this Big Milan, wrote 9 books, 7 and 8 figure businessman. What not many people know about is Milan was broke, college dropout, was suffering, was eating bread and butter for months, right? So, but here's what I've done to become who I am today. So I'm going through the valley, through that depth to bring myself up to show you that I'm not so different than you. I felt pain, I felt emotions, I felt fear and anger and all that stuff, but I did something that maybe you have not done. But you can do the same thing to become a businessman. I learned from different people. I realized that without courage and resilience, you will never go there. And people like Tony Robbins and Lisa Nichols took me to the next level. I won't be here where I am without them, right? So here's what I've done. And I build these businesses, and maybe you want to have the same results. So I use this simple technique, one of them. There's about 10 of them. I even wrote a book about it, by the way. So you use that simple one to connect what you show. Hey, success sells itself. I can show you the car and houses and stuff, but what is it? Who is Milan? What's that essence? What made you to become who you are today? That pain, that suffering, the struggle. When you show that part of your personality and being open to being vulnerable. I mean, us men, we're supposed to be strong, right? Hey, I'm not afraid to share. I've been bullied when I was in school, right? I was wearing big glasses, bully. You're different, right? But through bullying, I started doing martial arts. I started defending myself, developing commitment and discipline. I become stronger to brush that off. And that
Mhm.
helped me down the line running a business because now I know commitment and consistency, and it's not going to happen overnight. All that helped me. And I can say, you know what, without that pain and suffering and being broke, right, going through that journey, I won't be able to appreciate who I am today and who I have
Mhm.
eventually become. So but how would people know if we don't share it? If I
Right.
go quickly, I was broke, I was bankrupt, but that's fine. This is what I did. I'm successful today. Look at my success. What did you do, Milan? How's that? Yeah, I mean, I don't connect with you. I mean, success is
Mhm.
great. I mean, did you rent that car? Did you buy it? I mean, did you rent that house? There's questions, but it's not about that. It's about, hey, it's not about the house. It's about the journey. It's about who
Mhm.
I needed to become in the process, that identity. It's about what do you want more after that? Is that what you want? I mean, today I'm a dad. I have two kids, 8 years old, boy and a girl, twins, right? And I'm happy. The
Yeah,
car, I bought it eventually because my first car was really like, you don't want to go there, right? But
mine too.
eventually, exactly, right? Like, why not buy something that you can be proud of, right? Why not live in a bigger house because you can, right? But let me show you what are the steps for you to take to have that decent lifestyle so that you don't have to worry about it. But that's why we're using the storytelling to really become open and show people who we are, and then let people decide, is this the right person for me or not? And it's perfectly
Mm-hmm.
fine, right? So
I
that's the
love
choice.
that. And that shines a light on people who feel salesy from stage. This is the way to
Yeah.
overcome that, where you're just truly having a conversation and connecting with your audience. And one
Mm.
of my, I'm going to touch on two things you just said. One of my favorite lessons, since you're obviously connected to Tony Robbins, is you have to blame people. If you're going to blame people for the bad, you got to blame them for the good too. It's one of my favorite
Yeah.
lessons. And so really all those challenges that you went through and people who stood in your way, and you can thank them for all the things that it led you to. And so being able to think about those things in our life, and when you're talking about that valley, bringing us back up to the positive and the triumph through that valley, I think it's brilliant.
Mm.
And the second thing I wanted to mention was that you're the real deal. Very clearly, you're so authentic. And this is, I'm going to just kind of do a TV timeout for all of our listeners. Milan is the perfect example of leading with authenticity versus getting on a stage and having this ego about us and thinking we're the guru, right? So really using storytelling. So a lot of times people feel like they need to get on stage. I'm sure, I mean, you coach the people that's on this all day
Mm.
long, but they feel like they need to go into presenter mode. And it's one of those things that's like, no, where's your real self? And what I understand
Yeah.
about you is you pull people's stories out so they do present as an authentic person. So
Yeah.
does that sit with you? Am I pretty much on the mark with your goals and what you help people through?
Absolutely. I mean, I get a politician or a executive CEO says, Milan, I'm running this multi-million-dollar business, but I'm not connecting with my employees. They don't know who I am. I go there, I'm the leader, but I'm not feeling like I'm the powerful leader. I said, why? Because they don't really know who I am. And I don't know how to show them who I truly am, because I come across this very tough leader, but in fact,
Mhm.
I'm so soft. And how do I show them? And that's where I help them. What is your story? What did you have to go through in life? Let's show them that you are not different than they are at this point, but you went through the journey again to become, you earn your right to become who you are today, a leader, right? Now, powerful leaders are the ones who show an example. You have to lead yourself first, your own life. If you're not able to lead your own life, how are you going to lead other people? It's not about your followers. We have people with millions of followers, they're lousy leaders. That's not the point. It's about how I'm going to know. So we dive deeper into the story, into those, I call them incidents of your life. What did you have to go through in life? And then we reconnect. When I was bullied back in the days, we reconnect, we forgive, we heal through that. And then who did I become through that journey, through that pain? Okay, I'll become stronger. Great. So let's appreciate that a little bit. It wasn't without no reason, right? And then what else happened? Well, I was broke. Well, perfect. How did you overcome that? Well, I realized I don't want to be broke ever again. And that's my motivation moving forward. Great. Actually, I appreciate for being broke for my dad pushing me, right? So that's my story. And same thing with all these great leaders. Politician comes to me, Milan. I'm the leader in parliament. I'm supposed to debate and deliver. They always beat me up with these facts and figures. So, okay, what if you can go back and show them why are you there at the first place? You own your right, right? And there's ladies normally come to me, say, Milan, I own the right, but I don't know how to show them. Show them who you are, what you made, or what you went through in life. Literally. And they started using this one simple technique of valley. Look, we can talk about anything politics, but I earned the right to be here today. Not many of you know that I went through this and I've been through that. And you know what? Through this journey, I'm here today to share my value. Would it be okay to share it? Oh, wow, we didn't know. Let's share
Mhm.
it. And now the storytelling begins because you have facts, you have figures, and you know what you're talking about. Just needed a bit of a guidance. And I see it
Mhm.
often. Big CEOs, politicians, executives, entrepreneurs, successful people, it just lack of being a little bit more personal, more bit connecting with who you truly are and what you went through in life. And when that happened, interesting enough, magic literally happens. You see the new person, new personality, power, because you're not blaming your past anymore. You just
Mhm.
accept it, you heal through it, and you become so much more powerful. You're not living in the past anymore. And I like
That's
to
right.
say this, your story doesn't own you, you own your story. And when you own your
Mhm.
story, you own your life.
Ooh, okay,
Mhm.
those are those mic drop moments that you have.
Yeah.
I
Powerful.
I love that you just shined a light on the fact that this is not just for speakers from stage. It's for a politician, it's for a leader in a business, whatever it may be. All of this can have storytelling, and it's all just comes back to the basic tone of connection with people and helping them
Yeah.
to connect with you. So thank you for sharing that. I love that.
You're
Well, moving on to your second pillar, marketing, can you just expand on that a little bit? What you tend to guide people with there?
Right. So I always get this, Milan, how to get paid big bucks to speak. I have a great story. I go there, they don't want to hire me. I share my fee and they say it's too expensive. And I say, well, where are you in the marketing space? Do people even know who you are? If I put your name in it, what's going to come out? Is there a website? Is there social media? Milan, I don't really have much that. I'm not a social media person. Then the question is, if I'm an organizer, if I have this great conference, why would I hire you if nobody knows you? You might have a great story, but what's the value of you, who is kind of nobody? What kind of value are you going to bring to my people? And a lot of them, they don't even know what kind of value they have. They just feel I'm a motivational speaker. My story is powerful. It might be. But if people don't know what they're getting by hiring you, why are they going to pay you? So this becomes in alignment with building your brand, using the power of marketing to promoting your story, who you really are. And everything spoke about it, right? Who is Milan? Who did you help? What is your journey? What are the lessons? So when organizers want to hire you, they want something. Oh, this guy wrote 9 books. Wow. Endorsed by Tony Robbins. Wow, you help politicians. There's a lot of value. Milan, if I hire you, what is my audience going to take? Well, I can help them become better entrepreneurs, better leaders. They know how to become powerful brands. So that's a clear outcome. A lot of speakers, they don't have a clear outcome. They have a story, but usually something is missing. Either the story is not as great. Okay, I have a powerful story. What's missing? Well, marketing. Nobody knows who you are, or you're not there yet. Okay, let's work on the marketing so we can build your brand, get your social media following, awareness. Right now, we have a story in marketing. How do we monetize? Right. So it's not just about I go there and speak for a fee. It might happen, but then is it going to happen again? Same conference, they need different speakers. They want something new, right? Most likely not. So you're always constantly looking, or you can use any stage to promote your business on the back end, which I realize is going to bring you much more reward than instead of just, I'm going there to speak and get paid. So that's why I build different businesses. When I speak, I subtly promote my brand, what I do, right? So I have different coaching and mentorship programs, different books and different things. We're not going to talk about much about it today, but everything is a promotion one way or another. But people need to kind of fall in love with you first. And then when they follow you, then they find what makes sense to them, which part of your journey they want to be part of it, right? I train people in the property education space, speaking as well, writing books and different things. So then becomes a closed circle. Storytelling connects people with you. And then the marketing will bring us more followers, more leads, basically clients to connect with you. And then why are we posting? We're posting to create awareness of something that we offer. And eventually people might hire you because of your brand, right? Oh, I have a million followers. I mean, our social media followers, more than 400,000 people across all our brands. So when I go there and speak, I say, I will promote you on our 400,000 people. Oh, wow, Milan, you bring a lot of value, which I'm going to do for your event anyways, right? So,
Yeah.
so that's how we do it. It's about you bring a value and let people recognize that value. And if they feel that they need any help, then let's talk about it, right? That's what
Mhm.
it is.
I love that. I love that so much. And I love that you have such a collaboration spirit. Not everybody's competition out there. We're really in this. That's what the summit's all about, is to rise
Right.
together, give a lot of value to our audience. And that's what you lead with. And I love that very, very much. So
Thank
if somebody has not obviously come partnered with somebody like Tony Robbins and they're just starting out in the speaking world, or an entrepreneur looking to use speaking to forward their business, do you have just a thought or even a mindset piece of where they're just getting started and they don't have all that credibility sitting around, kind of a starting
you.
point for them?
It's not as difficult as it sounds. We always think, oh,
Mhm.
I don't have any books, I don't have any stories, I don't have anything. But
Mhm.
you have your own story. That's your
Mhm.
best power that you have. And your story is unique. Might be similar, but let's get deeper into your story, share it,
Mhm.
and you start sharing your lessons, which are your
Mhm.
unique lessons. And your story might resonate with so many people. That's why you're getting people who are going through similar journey like yourself. Like I have some of my students who went through a divorce. Okay, at Milan. I want to develop a program to help people after they're going through divorce and all that pain. Great, let's develop it. And all of a sudden, people started coming, wow, I wish I knew this when I went through divorce. Great. So let's focus on that program that you develop because based on your journey and your experience, right? Another lady I coach as well, she battled cancers and she won. She said cancer free. Wow. She says, Milan, there were so many people out there that need to hear me because they don't know how to handle these difficult diseases and pain. Wow. Let's create a program around your story. So step one, I would say, focus on your story. What are you good at? Right? Lessons that you took in your life and share them with the world. And eventually people will ask you, how can you help me? Maybe you're going to write a book. That book might become your business. Simple book. I mean, nowadays we have AI can help you write that fairly quickly with your sound and a voice. Why not leverage on that? Down the line, you might create some training, of course, even just mentorship or whatever that is, right? Business around it. Whatever that business is, people want to be personal. We're buying from people we like, right? So if I know who's behind this business, I'm more likely to go into business with you. But if I don't know, it's just, oh, I have this, I want to sell it to you. No. Look, I know this person, I would even pay more because I know them, I believe in their story, I know who they are. It's so much easier to build a brand. So once we have the story clear, right, it's so much easier to go to the next level. What else is there? Let's talk about marketing, promoting that story, and then all the other things will come across. Yeah.
Goodness, I love that. I love how you backward engineer. I've actually never considered that. I love how you backward engineer from their story. What do they relate to? And then creating offers based around who they can help using. I mean, my gosh, that's brilliant and so simple, but it's brilliant. So thank you for sharing that. That's fantastic. So your third pillar, and you've already alluded to this, but actually using your third pillar to build a sustainable and scalable business. Can you expand on that a little bit for us?
Right. So that comes with a business structure, right? So what kind of business we're running, whatever that is, what am I selling? What am I offering? There's always a bit of an exchange of value. So it's all about, for me, I'm not going to invent the hot water, but I want to see what is there already that is successful. So fortunately, I had Lisa Nichols to be one of my great friends and mentors. I learned from Tony Robbins, Les Brown, right? And then eventually you learn about different business models and you apply what works for you, however, with your twist. Okay, I see this. Let me add my own value, my own direction, what I think I can add to, let's say, this market here in South Africa, where I'm living right now, running the business, right? So business structure is simple. What do I need to do to take this business to the next level? How much I'm going to make? How many clients do I need to have? Where do I find these clients? And how do I build that relationship so that maybe I have multiple offers. Maybe I can start. And funny enough, a first funnel that I ever heard of was Tony Robbins' funnel, and eventually ended up being part of his funnel as well. Was you see, right? You see this big guy, like loud guy. Wow, who's this guy? Powerful, right? Years back. And I started following him, and all of a sudden he's offering me this book, $15 book. I'm not sure which one was it. That was like years back. So I bought it. It wasn't that expensive. And now I'm reading the book. Wow, powerful story. And then the next thing, invitation to his event. Okay, a bit pricey, but let me pay that. Was it $300 or something? So I go to this event, great. And now there's another event. Okay, this is like 3 days event. It's about $1,000. Wow, bit of a stretch, but let me go. So there is Milan there singing, it's Milan, I'm powerful, right? And then the next thing, they're offering me $50,000 one with Tony Robbins. And it wasn't about, no, it's about this too expensive. It's about how do I afford this?
Right.
Because, right, if I saw Tony and he offers me, first time I saw him, hey, Milan, I have something, $50,000. Forget about it. I don't know who you are. Why would I do that? So we have to build that trust, that relationship through the funnel, through branding and marketing, so that this becomes a no-brainer. And the question really was, how do I afford this? I couldn't afford it then, but eventually I found different ways to become part of his funnel. But the whole point of this is business. I can talk about something today. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Very small amount of people, those drivers will step on it, take action, buy right away, become part of your journey. Others, a bit of a layback. So I have to build trust through marketing, storytelling, emails, branding, and all the social media. Maybe they're going to become part of my business 6 months down the line, 12 months, right? But we build trust. We all have our own timing. And then once you're in it, now it's all about sustaining. So I also have different low-cost membership platforms as well. So, okay, you're not able to afford my high-ticket coaching, mentorship. I have this membership low cost. I have different books can assist you. We can even have a free consultation call so you can get a value. So that's what the business is. I mean, we're buying a bread, certain type of bread. Just an example, right? You go to that shop, and if you, I don't know, are you gluten free or you eat bread? Either way, you know, you go there,
I
pick
eat
that
sourdough
brand.
bread.
There you go, right? So you
Uh-huh.
pick that bread because you know the quality, you've been buying it for years. Why? There's a cheaper one next to it. There's no brand, no name brand, right? But you go to this one and you're willing to pay more because you build trust to the branding. And that's
Mm,
brings us back to the same thing. Storytelling, you know who's behind it. You've been doing this for years. You build trust relationship and it becomes a business and they got you. Now you got to buy it every single day. And all of a sudden, millions of people buying it. And you ask yourself, how come they're making so much money of these small products? Because so many people are using it and buying it. And then
that's
becomes a
right.
business that you can scale. Yeah.
I like that so much. And I love that you take care of everybody with your high ticket offers, but you're not leaving everybody out or anybody out on this
Mm.
road. And any of you can work with Milan at any level. And that's the most beautiful part. So you have helped multiple, I mean, thousands of entrepreneurs around the world at this point. You've built multiple businesses. What are you, Milan, most excited about in business right now or life?
Oh, that's funny enough. Well, I'm a dad now, so some
Mhm.
kind of I want to see my kids grow and share this value to them. In terms of the business, it's always about expansion, right? What else can we do? Where else can we go? Looking for strategic partners so that you can deliver similar value in the different areas. Because
Mhm.
alone, if I focus, let's say one-on-one mentorship, I have so many limited amount of hours per day, but I also want to spend time with my kids and travels and different things that I love. So really is about now thinking strategically and becoming a bit more smarter of want to grow the business with me less involved, but that I
Mhm.
can also grow it using the power of AI, using the power of strategic partnership so that everybody benefits. And somebody says, I want to empower others to do the same thing.
Mhm.
Right. So if I can train someone to become a good speaker, good salesperson, a great coach, I will empower them so they can deliver similar. And then eventually you become that high value mentor where your value is appreciated. Right. So it's not
Mhm.
about, oh, I can have Milan every single day, every single hour when it's needed. It's about,
Right.
hey, Milan is just kind of when you need him, when it's something kind of stuck there, he'll assist you, but you cannot
Mhm.
really get him when you want it. So you're building your own brand to the point of for limited few and for the higher ticket. But to get to
Mhm.
that point, again, you have to build it like we did all these years of building it so that people know, hey, there's Milan. He done so much there. You cannot really get him, but you can get him for the certain price. But he'll deliver value, right? So
Oh, yeah.
based on
And you'll deliver
experience and the
value.
leverage.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
you'll
I mean, you
deliver
get to the
value
point,
along the way.
right? You get
Mhm.
to the point you really find what makes you happy, more of finding some activities and with the dear people around you because you realize, I mean, I lost my parents a couple of years back. It's one of those life events that like you ask yourself, man, I gotta be present for my kids as long as I can because I've been
Mhm.
traveling, haven't really spent much time with my parents. I want to be now present. So that was also another lesson. So you find yourself and you grow in the process and that is that balance we all talk about, you know, balance between work and family and personal life. It's never going to be perfect, but you're going to prioritize what
Mhm.
means more to you, but without dropping the value on the other areas.
Oh, I love that. And along the way, all those lessons we learn, that just becomes part of our story and it just enriches
Right.
our talks and our leadership and everything along the way for people to connect with us. So instead of how you started off this entire interview was talking about mindset and going through and really not sitting back in our past and victim mentality and really using our story for powerful results and
Mhm.
powerful guidance and powerful connections. So really like
Yeah,
that. You happen to have a
100%.
free gift for our audience today. It's an amazing ebook. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that was one of the first books I wrote after years, and I realized people making the same mistakes over and over again. Let me write a book. Quick read, 11 Reasons Why Public Speakers Fail, 11 Reasons. And I put that into this mini ebook, and you can find it on my website, millionairespeakers.com. And the
Mm.
reason really I wrote it is I'm beginning all the questions, Milan. People trying to skip. They skipped that shortcut. And I said, you know what? This is what's missing. You're not going to get paid big bucks if you don't have a story. Okay, I have a story. Well, you're not going to get paid big bucks if you don't have power marketing. What's missing? So there's 11 reasons. If you focus on, you will become better speaker. You'll see what's missing. And if you start working on those things, what's missing, you will become not only better speaker, but your business will grow and your brand as well. So feel free to pop in on my website, millionairespeakers.com. Subscribe there. You'll see a little button, and you're going to get it pretty much immediately. Start reading it, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of value from that ebook. Yeah.
I love that. So the website is millionairespeakers.com, and just scroll
Correct.
towards the bottom, and that's where that ebook is sitting. And it's an amazing ebook. So please go do that. And when we can avoid, I mean, Milan's laid the groundwork for us. He's already made the challenges or the mistakes and along the way, and seen other people to do that and coached them through it. And if you can just avoid those same failures, and it just skyrockets you to success that much more quickly. So thank you for that. And then also for anyone listening, let's just say they are an entrepreneur looking to start in speaking, or an established speaker, but just not getting the results they're looking for. How can somebody take a next step with you to skyrocket their success?
The first thing is really to admit to yourself how much you don't know, right? And understanding that if you don't know what needs to happen for you to reach the next level, who is the right person to take you there, right? So choose your mentors wisely. If somebody connected with me on this call today, on this presentation, right, event, I will invite you to come and join me. I will offer you a free consultation call. It's also on my website, or you can go to calendly.com/7-figure speaker, but it's all on the website, millionairespeakers.com. And let's have a chat. It's going to be completely complimentary for your viewers, and I really want to dive deeper into your story. And when you get on that call, you know, I love your success, what you've done, but I'm really interested in what did you have to go through in life to become who you are today? Because that's the essence. That's that backbone of you, who you are today. Everything else comes as a result. But if we don't get that right, if we're not certain what made you to become who you are today, then everything is a bit confusing and blurry. So when that is clear, then everything has become so much easier. So that's what we're going to do. Dive into your story, hop on that call, and let's see how far we can go together. It's all about that success. You don't have to do this alone. It's okay to ask for help. And if I can be part of your journey, I'll be more than happy to do that. So, yeah.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. You do not have to do this alone. And if you can't tell, Milan is the real deal. He meets you where you're at. He deals with you, not just business strategy, not just talk structure, but he really deals with you on a heart level and helps you to get out of your own way, really more than anything, and connect with your audience. The power of, I'll just say this from my own perspective, is I did years of business. I've been an entrepreneur for many, many years now. And I struggled for a while through all of that. And then I started speaking, and I used to faint. So that was one of my problems, is I get on stage and completely faint. So part of really connecting with your own story is getting into your body, right? But besides that, the power of speaking as an entrepreneur, I just cannot even say enough about it. I stood on stage one time and made more money than I had from the last 2 years of hard work combined. And so if you are an entrepreneur, I know a lot of you listening are speakers and you're wanting to expand that, but a lot of you are entrepreneurs wondering, how can I use speaking? Milan is your man for that. Please go not only get his ebook, but please schedule that call with him, because your life, you can tell this man, it's going to throw you on a completely different path and a trajectory to goodness, and connect with people like Milan in this world. This is where we lift one another up. And Milan, you had people in your life with Tony Robbins and others that have just lifted you up, and Milan can be your next step to do that. So you absolutely heard this specific interview. You made it all the way through this for a very specific reason, and something Milan said today, I know it landed with your heart. So please go take those steps. The link for his ebook is right under this interview. And Milan, I cannot thank you enough. Truly, you are such an authentic man, and you lead in business without a personal hat and a business hat. You are just you, and I just value that so deeply. So thank you for your time today. Thank you for pouring into our audience. You are an absolute rock star in this world.
And thank you for inviting me. And you said something powerful. You know, we can recognize only people based on who we truly are. And I always like to say it takes one to see one, right? So speaking changed my life forever, and hopefully will change yours. Not only are you going to become more confident and powerful, but you can also build a business around it and overcome that fear of speaking, which is the number one fear that most people are afraid of. But once you crack it, then it's all about you, your journey, your growth, and you can become so powerful if you're willing. And when you're willing, nothing will stop you. I'm looking forward to see you all. Thank you, Tiffany, for the invitation. Looking forward to having more sessions like this as well.
That sounds wonderful, Milan. Thank you so much. And for everyone watching, thank you very much. Go take some action on your life today. Quit self-sabotaging, get out of your own way, and go take your next brave steps. We'll talk to you soon.